get to hear you live in a few weeks. It's going to be incredible.
Oh, awesome.
Hello and welcome to episode 77/8 of the Uncensored Podcast. I am your host, Riley, and this is our new co-host, possibly temporary,
maybe
Keeaun Jones.
Yes,
you might recognize him from the Keeaun Jones episode we did, but now he's here not as a guest but as a host, and we are joined by an amazing band today. Who are we joined by, Keeaun?
We are joined by Electron.
How are you doing, guys?
Hi. Fine, thank you. Thanks a lot for having us.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
I'm great, thank you.
Very well, very well.
Hope you are the same. I'll hit the ground running with the simple question that you always tend to ask. So, how did you guys form as a band?
Well, we want to go for it, or should I? So we don't overlap.
You can go for it.
Okay. See. Anyways, we actually lived very near in Portugal, but we only met in the UK. We met when we went to uni at Beam College in Fulham Broadway, London. And we've been playing together in some projects inside the school, even for our master's degree. And eventually on my solo career, that was a project of my master's as well. We were writing together, playing together, and one thing led to another, and it became Electron. Yeah, basically, it's very simple like that. It's a bit boring, uni stuff, but it became Electron. Yeah.
And just to tag on, how did you come up with the name? How did you know that was the name you wanted to use?
Our music is very energetic, especially the shows as well. We're very calm now, but usually on stage it's like we're possessed. So we needed something that symbolizes that energy. And the cool thing is when two electrons are together, they just collide, bounce back and forth. So it creates this chain reaction that we think it is in our music and in our performances. Yeah. And also because we also blend electronic music, a bit of hip hop, a bit of trap, a bit of house into our music, and with the thrash metal riffs or new metal and metalcore. So yeah. I think it goes both ways, and it was a cool name for that.
Yeah, definitely. And you can definitely hear that, especially on your 2024 EP Hollow. I think there's a lot of I think like you've said, of that good energy, just that energizingness. And I'm excited to see how the live energy comes across when we see you at SX Fest in a few weeks, because I will be in attendance.
Oh, sorry, I think we have a connection issue. I couldn't hear you very well.
That's been happening lately. I'm really confused as to why. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you live at SX Fest, which you are playing soon.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be really cool. It's the first time there. We know some bands, especially Rattlebacks, as we've played together, and we've been together at the Wigwam Awards this year as well for the same category. And I'm just stoked. There's a lot of bands that I don't know as well, and they all seem very cool. The organization is nice as well, and we've never played Southend-on-Sea, so excited for that. We've only landed there once on that airport, so there's not much we know about the area, and we're stoked to find out more about Southend, and of course playing the Moonraker Club. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, very good. I mean, as artists myself, obviously, we like to go on Spotify and Apple Music. So how would you say you are doing personally? How would you say you're doing on Spotify and Apple and different distribution services?
Well, you mean in terms of reach, expanding
fan
base?
In terms of reach, fan base, and generally just how it's going.
Well, for Apple Music, there's not a direct pitch that we can make, for example, to editorials and all that. But we're very confused in a good way that we always get a certain amount of streams every week and new fans discovering, and a lot of Shazams apparently in Mexico City and Sao Paulo in Brazil, which we never promoted there. So it's very funny. But that also happens on YouTube. We have a lot of fan base on Argentina, Mexico, and Brazil as well there. On Spotify, we do have Brazil a lot, but our strongest market is the UK, and the second one, I think, is Germany or the US. But those are the top three. And it's increasing step by step. It's a huge ladder to climb, of course, but gradually we have been expanding our followers, we have been expanding our reach, and we're getting consistent amounts of streams and small growth week in, week out as well. And every time we play shows, we see more followers, so it's a good thing. We also make some custom-made cards with a QR code that people can land there and on our website find out about us. So we always try that at the merch table. I think it's working. But like I said, it's a huge fight, step by step, but we're very happy to see how people are receiving our music.
Yeah. And you mentioned like the reach that especially helps in places like festivals and concerts. So I'd just like to open the table to both of you for a moment to ask a slightly linked question. If you could put on your own festival, what 3 bands would you have as your headliners?
Oh my God.
Go for it. I'm always doing talking here.
I don't even know. There's so many people I would like to put on. But I guess my main picks would be Alter Bridge is the main one for me. Maybe Spirit Box as well. And Slipknot. This would be my 3 picks out of the top of my head.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I'd go.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
so good.
That's a festival I'd love to go to, honestly.
Joanna wants to sell tickets, so she's putting all these big bands.
They would work. And out of those 3 bands, I've seen 2 of them live. I've seen Alter Bridge twice actually, and I saw we saw Slipknot end of the year, and I mean it's one of a kind. It's brilliant. So yeah, that's a really good lineup. I would very much go because I want to see Spirit Box. I'm actually seeing them later this year. So
Oh, awesome. Is it Wembley with Linkin Park?
yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Me too.
It's like it's so expensive to go anywhere right now, but yeah, I love Spirit Box. So I am hoping I'll see him soon. And what about yours?
Well, my top picks.
Yeah.
I'll keep Alter Bridge just because I've never missed a tour since AV3.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm that much of a fan. And yeah, Tremonti is a big inspiration as well on our songwriting and riff making. He's perfect guitar player in the modern era. There's very few that come close in my opinion. I will probably put Spirit Box as well because I am really enjoying Spirit Box, especially this year I started to enjoy more. And I'll put Architects just because as a singer, you gotta praise and study Sam Carter's technique. It's amazing. One of a kind. Yeah.
Yeah, Architects have been doing incredibly these past few years. Like with some of their newer albums and stuff, like they've got a really good sound to them. And Tremonti's one of them bands I really want to see live because you'd think I would have, but I've just never had an opportunity. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned the talent within that band is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is unreal. But it is solo project as well. I saw one he have Wolfgang Van Halen as well here in London.
I've seen him 3 times.
Oh, awesome!
He's incredible. I was never big into Van Halen, not because I don't like him, just because I haven't listened to much. But yeah, I saw WVH a few times, and they are incredible. They are going to be so huge. Like,
yeah, He's opening for a lot of people because last year I went to 3 or 4 gigs and he was always the support act. So I got to see him a lot of times. And it is very good. To be honest, I think there's still potential to grow. It's quite a new project, 2 albums just. So I wonder how much better it will get, because especially when he shreds live, I want to hear that more on his records. Yeah, he is very talented.
Like, yeah, he's so talented. I think the plan is, if he opens for, and he's opened for some massive names. I mean, he opened for Motley Crue, I believe he opened for Alter Bridge. So he's like getting these huge hits. So when eventually he does solo tour, it's gonna be like he's built a large net of people that'll be interested in going.
Yeah, I think he's very clever.
Yeah, no, 100.
Yeah, very clever. I mean, moving back onto like your music, who would you say inspires your type of music the most? Like, what kind of bands do you see and be like, okay, that's kind of what I want to do my things like?
We're inspired, don't get me wrong, by music a lot, but we're mainly inspired by artists as Pollock that have nothing to do with music, Van Gogh as well, and Schopenhauer. As an author, we like to read a lot about existentialism and philosophy books. So our main source of inspiration is that and our personal, life. But yeah, we do listen to a lot of music, and all the bands we just quoted for festivals, you can tell we're inspired, and Korn a lot. It's always there. Mm-hmm. There's always an element of Korn in our music, just because we enjoy the kind of sonic landscape they create, and we try to make something original, but that to create that kind of room between higher notes, lower notes, weird chords as well, and weird progressions. Getting there, but yeah, and we're also inspired by artists outside of the metal genre. We listen to a lot of blues, we listen to a lot of rock and roll, and we both have a classical music background, so there's a bit of inspirations from Debussy as well, and Bach in our music, which cannot be very easy to tell, but once I say it and you go and listen, and even Tchaikovsky, then you start noticing, oh, okay, this guy likes this kind of music as well.
And what did you both do in the like classic music scene?
Well, I used to be an opera singer, and I studied classical guitar for 10 to 12 years. I'm not certain. I started playing at 8 or 7, and I finished all the stages when I was 18. And then when I went for college, I could either go for classical or try something new. And I always wanted to play metal, especially since I was 14. So I decided to go in college to contemporary music, let's say, rather than keep studying just classical music for the rest of my life. Joanne, I think you played classical piano, right?
I played piano for 3 years. I'm very rusty now, but I've also had not really opera, but classical singing for 3 years as well. So yeah, it's very ingrained in me, but now I don't do anything to do with that, actually.
Well, I mean, there's a big range in that background. That's it. Like, it means you've got a lot of like different like avenues to explore and different ways to create the music you want to make, since you've both got that like very interesting background in such a different type of genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we're smart enough, we can take advantage of that. But we're still growing. We're still quite young as well, and very recent. So it is a journey, and we try not to put too much pressure into using everything we hear and everything we know how to play, and just trying to capture whatever comes to mind. And in terms of writing, it's a bit chaotic because it's difficult to explain, but it's something that out of nothing happens, Sometimes we hear stuff on our head and we just go and play. Some songs take 30 minutes to be done. Some songs take years because there's always a new layer that we can add.
Of course. Yeah, and moving to the performing side of your music, how does it actually feel when you're on stage, you're at a gig, and everyone is there with their hands up, like banging their heads to your music? How does that feel? Like,
well, we are, I would say, 100% more of a live band than a studio band. We enjoy going to the studio, don't get me wrong, especially when we hear the final product. But for us, it always takes so long to finish the studio in terms of there's always a lot of instruments in our songs and we just get really tired. Where when we play live, we've played for half an hour and 2 hours and a half sometimes. We don't get tired, and I just get pumped and pumped and pumped.
Yeah.
So for me, it's amazing. Whether we have a full house or almost nobody, you know what I mean? We are always very excited to play. It's just the energy is different, and songs for me, they only mean something if you can perform them live and see the reaction of people and feel the connection as well. Like they get the message, they understand the sound as well.
yeah, because you're not going to get a full reaction from someone over the phone. You're only going to get that live reaction when you're playing it. You're only going to get that kind of influence from the fans when you're playing live, which I think is just amazing, personally.
And that's the challenge in the studio, that I think it's very tough to capture the energy we have live in the studio. It's something that we have to work on and keep building on it, you know. I think the new material we're gonna put out this year and next year is way better in terms of delivery. It feels more like a performance, but we need to keep improving as if we were matching that energy. It's very hard to capture through a mixer, right? The energy of a live gig, and we're gonna keep trying to improve as well. Like I said, we're so young that we have a lot to learn and to improve yet.
Yeah, of course. And Joanna, how, like, would you agree? How does it feel to be on stage and to perform?
I agree with everything you said. I mean, for me, being on stage, it seems like it's a bit unreal at times because, like you mentioned before as well, we're very calm and I'm a bit more reserved and shy and everything. But when I'm on stage, I feel like a completely different person, especially if we have a very responsive audience. It's like a 180. Yeah.
And I guess, like, continuing on from this, since you have said about how great it feels live, do you have any any upcoming gigs in like the next few months that you'd like to get in there and like promote a bit?
I was waiting for Joanna because I'm always talking.
Yeah, I can say that. Well, the next one we have is actually next week at the Black Heart. We're opening for the 500, and then after SX Fest, we have a gig opening for a New Tomorrow in the Wonderworld in Camden. Yeah, so it's for now that those are the only ones, but we're planning many more in the future, of course, for 2025.
You forgot one. You forgot the June gig.
All right.
Our gig. The one we're putting.
Yeah, on the 21st of June, we have one that we're headlining.
Yeah, we're putting a gig at the Black Heart, yes, as well. We love to play there. I think the sound is great.
Yeah.
We played a lot of venues for the past 7 years in different projects as well. And at the Black Heart, I think we really sound great there. Hopefully, let's see if we keep like that. And we're stoked for the Underworld because it's gonna be the first time, and it's with really close friends of us as well. I think it's gonna be a great experience.
Yeah, and I was just about to ask if you played the Underworld before, because Camden in general has so many incredible venues. Some of my favorite venues probably in the country. And something like the Underworld, it's renowned. Like, everyone knows it for just how incredible it is. You've had so many like world star names play there before, so it must like feel surreal to know you're going to like stand on the same stage as so many of these like complete bona fide legends.
Yeah, we wanna, to be honest, the project we have for the band is to go step by step. We didn't want to book the venue, you know what I mean, and then play to none, because it makes no sense. We want to expand the fan base. So over the past few years, we have been going from the Fiddler's Elbow, the Death, trying to expand the reach. Then we played the first time at the Blackheart with the Rattlebacks, and it was actually unbelievable. I think we had 80 something people there, 84, if I'm not BS the hell out of it, but it was around that number. And then we felt we're gonna go there again. We're gonna go to the Underworld. We're gonna go to SX Fest, and Underworld as a support act, of course. And it's time to test and try ourselves headlining the Blackheart as well. But we always, it was a desire and an objective to play the Underworld. We just needed to wait for the right opportunity or the right time, if it is the time to put on the show, which I don't think it's quite there yet, but let's see how we grow this year as well. I think we sometimes, independent artists, we tend to focus a lot on negative stuff, but if we look back at where the band was when we released our debut album 2 years ago and where we're at now. 2 years ago, we were playing St. Moritz, a very small club in Soho that is like a basement and nobody fits on stage. And now we can headline the Blackheart. I think it's a massive journey in just 2 years. And we played our first outside of London gigs as well. And yeah, let's see. We're going to keep fighting and try to grow, of course. But I think live performances are the ultimate tool. If you really deliver a good show, people start becoming fans as well. And have cool merch as well. People like to wear T-shirts that look good and that have great quality. It's better to put them a bit more pricey, but to make a really great shirt than to make something really cheap that you wash it once and it's gone, right?
Yeah, definitely. And just as a continuation, because obviously the Underworld is an incredible a venue that I'm sure was always a dream. Do you have, like, both of you, is there any other venues that are like the dream? Like, if you could play in any venues, is there any that really stick out to you?
You want to go for it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess the ultimate dream is Wembley Stadium. But of course, in the meantime, we like Electric Ballroom, like all the O2s across London. That would be great. And it for us, the Underworld is already like a good step, and we're so excited for it. So after that, we just want to grow and grow step by step, as at a steady pace, of course, and yeah, just perform as much as we can everywhere we can.
Yeah, and last year we had the chance of supporting King Buffalo at the Arch Brighton, and that was really cool because it's a really big venue. We had no idea, first time in Brighton even, and we go there and we start saying, this is a big venue, It feels good to be on that kind of stages. At the same time, when you're new to it, it's like, now I have all this space. What is this? I don't have the drums on top of me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or the bass in your head.
Yeah, I'm always having scars from gigs. But I think I would say there's a venue that is not in London, but my dream venue would be to play at Estádio da Luz in Lisbon, just because I'm a really big Benfica fan. That's it.
My gosh.
Yeah, I always have to bring that up.
Well, it is a good venue to play at. I've seen a few things with it before. It does look like incredible. You just touched on the cuts and bruises you tend to sustain at gigs. Do you have any like really memorable stories from like a concert you played?
We have a few. You want to say something?
Well, I don't remember per se, but I think after every show we at least have neck pains. So every day after a show we wake up and it's like, okay, can't move my neck. Oh my gosh. But I don't know. I was never that injured other than muscle pain. But if you have any stories about a particular gig, go ahead.
No, we have the occasional conversation where you don't understand anything with someone. You know, after the show, your ears are buzzing. We wear in ears, but it's still buzzing sometimes. And there's always a drunk guy that comes and talks, you know, and we try to be nice. It's a potential fan as well, but it's always a nodding conversation. You know what I mean? And I'm not understanding something. He may be cursing me or something, and I'm like, yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's always that talk always happens at a show with someone. It's not anyone's fault. I think it's a lot of beer and a lot of noise. It makes it impossible to have a conversation.
Yeah, you get them at every concert. The amount of times I've been at a small gig, and there's always the one you can tell should have stopped drinking ages ago. Like, probably, oh mate, I was I'm like, yeah, thanks. No idea what you just said, but it sounds supportive.
Yeah. Oh, in Bournemouth, we had a guy that was really stoned, like really high, and he just wouldn't let go of me after the show. I think I had 2 to 3 hours, and I'm not exaggerating, of talking without me talking at a certain point, but always like just stuff. I remember this sentence: music is the soul, right? And I will say, yeah. And he repeats the same thing, goes on and says that money doesn't matter, anything, you know, like lecturing me about what music it is. And I never seen the guy again, because we went back to Bournemouth and I never seen the guy again.
We have very so actually. There is one. It was actually at the St. Moritz Club, and he was like a drunk guy that was just moshing with like the walls and everything, and all of the other public was like on the background to let him like go around. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, the story of that one. That is my favorite fan. That is my favorite one, and up to this day, because before sound check, we were in the street waiting for the venue to open, and here comes he was a homeless dude. And he looked at me, he had no teeth, and said, do you have any change or a cigarette? And we said no. And then he asked what we were about to do, playing a gig, all that. And he said, okay, I'm going to rob someone and I'm going to come to the gig. And I looked and I thought, he's kidding. He actually came to the gig with an NFL shirt. I can't remember the team, but on the back would say Pen Jelly 88. I still remember that because everybody at the gig was trying to enjoy the gig, and he was doing a mosh pit alone, you know, and he got very aggressive in the middle. After the gig, he wouldn't let go, and he was very happy. Gave me his phone, or a phone he stole, asked me for the YouTube as well. But it was hilarious because he actually went for it. He said, I'm going to steal somebody and come to the gig, and he did it.
Sorry to interrupt very suddenly, but I have to go now. Is that okay?
That's okay. Lovely to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us, and nice to meet you. See you at the festival.
Yeah, I'll see you at the festival.
Bye.
Bye, Joanna.
Bye.
But yeah, no, I've seen my fair share as quite an avid concert goer. I've seen my fair share of interesting characters at like little gigs, especially small gigs. There's always a few. But my favorite, and I'm not sure if you've ever encountered one, it's always the guys who are clearly pushing like 60. Like they're really getting on, and they've got their little patch jacket on, and you see they're always at the front as well with a beer, and they're listening to these new bands. And like, if you go up to talk to them, you're like, I just love like all this new generation. It reminds me back then when I was like them, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, they just bring such good vibes to
it. It's true. They're always at the gigs as well. Like, we still play small venues, so yeah, it's a drunk guy and always the old dude in the front that will talk as well at the end of the gig a lot.
Yeah, a lot of talking.
Yeah.
But they're always such lovely guys. They don't mean any harm. They're just passionate about the music.
Yeah, I had something like that at one of my gigs before. It was very funny. Literally the exact same story. We just finished up the gig and someone comes over to us and goes, he's drunk off his head, just comes up to us and just gives us all a hug. And it's like, thank you for bringing music to the world. I'm like, yeah, just move away.
Dude, was that at the Rock then? In Hatfield? Because I have a guy saying that exactly there twice.
I've been playing guy.
He just
It
traveled.
felt such a coincidence that I must ask if it was at that venue.
Yeah. No, we were a lot smaller than that. Local pubs is all we got to.
Yeah, probably it's the same guy or a
Yeah.
cousin.
Probably his cousin, yeah, 100%.
They just want to spread love.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
But it's awesome though. I mean, you're pumped after the show, and they're always sweet, to be honest.
Yeah, I do think just general like smaller scale to like medium scale concerts have just like the best vibe around them. Everyone's so friendly. Everyone's just there to like have a good time, enjoy some music. Like it's an unmatched atmosphere.
Yeah, no, it is great, and I think lots of big bands, you hear them say they miss those days, and it's for a reason.
Yeah.
Stadiums must be unreal to play them, but you're a bit away from everyone. It's not kind of the same vibe. Probably it has other perks, like if the whole stadium roars, it must be a really great feeling, to be honest. That we can't get that at the small pub, but that proximity, that intimacy, it's very cool at small gigs.
Yeah, 100. And it's like, I mean, you even look at bands like Motley Crue when they were doing their huge tour with Def Leppard and like the co-headliner when they were playing Wembley, playing these massive stadiums. I believe this might be wrong. I might think of the wrong band, but I'm pretty sure the night before or the night after their Wembley gig, they put out like literally like a 10-minute in advance thing. It's like, we're going to the underground, like for just this small gig. It's like first come first serve kind of thing, just so we can have like that old feeling of a gig again.
No, they did at the Underworld the day before, and it was like a surprise gig that some people knew.
Yeah, like barely anyone knew, and it was just it was a massive thing. It's like there's clearly something about those small venues that even when you're massive, like just brings that kind of joy to you.
Yeah, no, that I wish I could have gone to the Underworld, but I didn't know they were going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, I saw them at Wembley, and I was like, it was epic seeing them at Wembley, but damn, it would have been nice to see them at the Underworld.
Oh no, they played a really great gig at Wembley. For me, it's always easy for me to watch gigs in Wembley, either the arena or the stadium, because I live right next to it, so I just walk. But Motley Crue was a really cool show, and John 5 was on fire that night, I think.
Yeah, it was disappointing though, Mick Mars, but John 5 did really well, and Vince Neil really proved that he can still kind of sing. And Tommy Lee, great drummer, and Nicky Sixx has always been like a real big idol for me. Like I've read all his books. I think his story is really interesting. So seeing him live, it was spectacle. It was sick.
No. Were you at those floor chairs? I think they put like some chairs, right?
Nah, we were like the bottom of the normal, like seated.
Okay, cool.
View, like as well. But yeah, it was a really good gig. And Motley Crue is such a bucket list band to go see, I feel.
Yeah, I had to watch them once in a lifetime at least. Yeah.
It's
definitely worth it.
Yeah, but quickly just moving back to like the music production side of your music. Like obviously you said how you can't really get the same energy producing the song as you can performing the song. Do you think because you see that with quite a few artists as well, do you think there is a phase in your career where you can move out of that and have that kind of same energy that you do in the studio as you do on stage?
I think there's some factors up to it. First one is budget. basically. We're very fortunate to be working since the EP with Ramesh, just because he's the first person that I've met that doesn't try to change the song. Like, his ideas are for the song. Just because I did something, maybe try this, but always respecting a bit our sound. And it's very close. It's getting closer, especially the new material is not out yet. I cannot say when it comes out, but it will be soon, sooner than people expect. There's a lot of energy now in the new stuff as well, and he gets the sound. You listen to the same band, so it's very fortunate. You need to find the right person, and the guy who did Defiance is actually the guy that we're supporting at Underworld. And with this, I'm not trying to say that he didn't get, because he actually listens to a lot of artists I do. But it's more than just being an amazing producer. I think it's the click, you know what I mean? Where it needs to be easy for you to tell somebody what's here. And that part is the trickiest bit. And then, of course, like I said, budget. The more you increase with a really great producer, the better results you can achieve, the more time you have to put on. We always rush a bit, you know? It's always on the clock, and you need to finish the songs. And we have a song that we recorded. I think next year we'll put it out. It has 78 tracks of guitar and bass, and yeah, a lot of tracks. So if you imagine all that, we did like 10 songs, and we had 2 weeks or 2 weeks and a half for 10 songs. It was tough, but we managed to get a very experienced drummer to do these records, which is Tom Connolly from Dream State. And the drums are with a lot of energy. You can tell he's very professional, that he played download and all that, of course. Proved as well, you know? So first step is finding the right producer for your band, right? Somebody that you click, somebody that it becomes easy to say the stuff that ain't easy, like in terms of what you're envisioning. Because now I go there, he turns on the amps, he knows the sound I like, how it should be done, you know what I mean? And the kind of production. We're doing modern music, but it needs to be real. I love a lot of bands like Spirit Box, Architects, Bring Me the Horizon, but the latest records sound very fake, especially the drums. And it's Get Good Drums Invasion or Get Good Drums something, you know, it's always a plug-in, a lot of triggers, and you need the real drums, in my opinion, you know. Of course, compress them to make them harder and all that. But I feel like the world is craving for more real studio experience, you know, still modern production, but a bit more realistic and not overproduced. And for me, Ramesh is perfect for that. And then, of course, it's also your delivery in the studio. We have to grow. We're young. I mean, Electron is 2 years old, pretty much. So we still have to develop. I think our delivery improved, and that people will be able to hear it on the new tracks. And the EP was another improvement already in the past. And it's always about trying to find that perfection. And I don't think you get it in music, but you search for it as well. In terms of energy, you know, you need to put it. That's why you do more than one take. When you're out of energy, you play the right notes, but it's not the same thing when you're on it. But I want to get to a level that the energy is really the same as it is live, you know, and for that, I just need to keep practicing and going a lot to the studio. That's the best practice. You evolve that. I evolved in the studio more than the entire year as a guitarist and as a singer. So I'm happy with my vocal performance, especially in the last works we did. I think it is very close to live. Guitar, I think I can do much better, and I will try to keep improving.
And you touched on that idea of perfection. Would you also say that, I mean, perfection, you said it yourself, in the music industry, there's really no such thing because it's different from band to band. It's like the perfect vocals for a Slipknot song wouldn't be perfect if you put them on like a Katy Perry song. So it's like that idea of perfection. It's so specific to exactly like what sound you make, what you're trying to convey to the audience, what you've written.
I agree. My goal, and I'm not kidding, it will seem like a joke, but it is to just play one chord before the show and people be jaw dropped. So for me, that's perfection, which is you really have a really great tone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it all starts with that. People put more emphasis this day on sweep picking and all that in guitar playing, rather than the most important thing, which is your delivery and your tone. For me, it's all that. And you can buy all the gear in the world, and it helps, to have great gear. But I still believe, because my experience as a guitarist also tells me that the tone is all in your fingers and nothing more. I switch guitars. I have Nax guitars here with bare knuckle pickups and Les Pauls with the MGs, and I can get a tone that is not 100% the same but very similar, because I'm obsessed in trying to get the more I can of my fingers. So I'm playing modern metal with gain at 10 o'clock, probably. 10 or a bit slightly behind, It needs to be done with your attack and everything. But it's still, like I said, a lot of room to improvement. Keep even live. I think we can always do better. And it's because of that, because we want to achieve perfection. You think I did a great job, and then you think maybe I could do this better, And it's always about that. And I think if you don't settle and work hard, you will always improve, because there's something new to learn as well.
Yeah,
of course. And I do think perfection in music, like as you said, there's really no such thing unless it's like specific to your own sound in a way. And I also believe that like you said, having to play one chord at the start of a show and everyone just go mental, and I can understand why that would be your perfection, because that's like they know you're there, you've got them ready before you even start playing your song, and I can understand how thrilling that would be for you.
I actually that started happening to me when I was living in Portugal when I was 15, 16, and I went to this festival and Jack White was playing, and I only knew Seven Nation Army, that's it. I wasn't very familiar with his work. He does sound check and he plays the A chord, and everybody, sound check was taking a long time, and everybody was complaining and just shut up when he played the chord, and everybody was like, wow. And it was such a tone that I said, I need to do this, straight away. As a kid, I thought this is the goal, like, because everybody got goosebumps straight away, and he's not known for making those big shredding solos or anything, but he just strummed the chord and everybody made silence and was like, wow, you know what I mean? So that's what I want to do. That's what everybody in the band, I think, wants to do as well. Have great tone and especially great energy and delivery,
Yeah, definitely. And as we're approaching the final quarter of this podcast, I'm going to slightly move it on to the typical closer questions. I'll start with one that is just completely going off field from everything we've been talking about, but it's a very important question. It's one that every single guest ever on the Uncensored podcast has been asked. So it's got prestige behind it. I like to call it the Uncensored trademark question. And there are right and wrong answers to this, and I will be critiquing. But what I really want to know, what is the best sandwich?
Francesinha. It's a Portuguese sandwich, and it's the best in the world. You need to try that.
I've heard of it. For anyone not familiar, what exactly is in it? I'm going to have a quick Google of it now.
The secret is the sauce.
Right, okay. So what kind of things are in the sauce? I really want to try this now. Now you've hyped it up. Like, I
You
wanna
can
know.
make it with whiskey and beer as well, or vodka. It's just so good and spicy, and it is very good. And of course, if you're vegan, you can't eat it. There are vegan francesinhas, but it's not very good. The really good francesinha is meat and meat and meat, you know,
Yeah.
and a lot of cheese and everything. Yeah. No, that is very good. You guys need to try it once in your life.
I heard of it.
Only in Porto, the city of Porto. Those are the greatest ones.
Okay, well, I will plan a trip to Porto to try a francesinha. Yeah, I have heard of it before. I heard of it on a podcast, weirdly enough.
You will not forget it. I will tell you.
I will.
Having a look at it now, I don't think I'll ever forget having that. Like, jeez.
You need to have the egg on top as well. Always ask for the egg.
Well,
remember that.
I will, because that looks.
We'll
I
have a
know
trip
that
next
looks
week, man.
dirty. Yeah, go on. We'll make a quick trip after this. Porto's what, 20-minute walk? I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that'll
fast
be
walker. Good. Yeah, I give a big approval to that sandwich. That is a lovely sandwich indeed.
Yeah, very, very is. What other questions do you ask at the end of the show?
Well, I've got one more, but I mean, since you might be a new host, do you have anything that you want to start ending things with?
Oh, I'll tell you what. You said I'll have a think. Come back to me.
Okay.
I'll have a think.
Well, I'm going to ask you the normal closing question, but we might even get an extra. Now, I delivered this like a speech, so I'm just going to take a big breath in. I'm going to ask you to make a band. Now, here are the rules. You can have as many or as few people as you want, as long as you have the key fundamentals of a bassist, a singer, a guitarist, and a drummer. You can have as many or as few people as you want in this band. They can be dead or alive. They will be alive when they perform, unless you specifically request them not to be. You can be in the band. You don't have to be. And they don't really need to know how to play the instrument, but they can in this situation. No, if they can't play it, they can't play it, but it will be pretty funny. And your turn.
Okay, so I should choose celebrities.
Yeah, you can choose.
Not related. Okay. I'll put John Cena on drums.
There is.
I think he will smash it.
Yeah,
I
see it.
The rock on
Like
bass.
I can't see
The rock on bass, I think it will be perfect.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd get the rock and bass. I think he'd want to be the lead singer.
Yeah.
No, wait for it.
Okay.
But this band is gonna play heavy metal, as you can see. It's already a bit heavy, right? I would put as a lead guitarist Donald Trump, just because he's this massive firing gun hassle. And I think he will do some nasty leads. And there's only a room for one guitarist, like Motley Crue, so the lead guitarist is the rhythm guitarist in this band.
Okay.
And as a lead singer, I'll put Greta Thunberg, just because I like to see her working with Trump.
So you've got John Cena, The Rock, Donald Trump, and Greta Thunberg, and that's your band.
That's my band. I think it will suck a lot.
No, I'd love to see them in concert.
I'd love to see it,
Yeah.
not because I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, because I will be laughing my head off the whole time. But okay, I've thought of a question.
Okay.
I feel like it's a decent question. Tell me if it's not.
Okay.
Okay. Where do you see your band and your career in the next 5 years?
Living of the music we make and touring at least Europe, I think, as a support act, of course. But yeah, starting to really make a living of music, because we still work jobs as well. We earn very little still. There's no money at this stage anyways for anyone. But touring Europe will be great, and I think it's achievable in 5 years if we're being realistic, of course.
Definitely.
Well, whenever it is, I will be there.
Yeah, we will be there.
100%.
Every show. I mean, we were listening to some of your music earlier while we were getting some stuff done, and it's quality. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's got such a good energy to it, and I can't wait to hear what you do next and to get to hear you live in a few weeks. It's going to be incredible. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, to hype our viewers a little bit for SX Fest, we will actually be playing the new song that you haven't got a release date yet, but you will get it eventually. This is called Echoes of a Dying World, and we are going to play it for the first time at SX Fest. So come and see it. It's very fast, like 128 or 121 BPM, but it's always about high energy, and I think everybody will love it. And it's heavier than anything we ever released.
Yeah. And I mean, that sounds awesome. You get exclusives. Link below, buy some tickets. It's going to be a great show over in Southend. I'm really looking forward to it. And with that, is there anything else that you'd like to promote just before we wrap up?
Well, a lot of emphasis for SX Fest, I think, because just the organization is so cool, everybody in the team, and I think the lineup is sick. And also our first day gig at the Black Art, 27th February, I think it's gonna be a great gig and a good warm-up for SX Fest. So if you're around London, come to that one, and then of course to the festival, which it's a really sick lineup. I think everybody will enjoy.
Amazing. Well, yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming. Everyone at home, thank you very much for watching. I've been your host, Riley. This has been the new co-host, Keeaun, making his debut. This has been Electron. Please go follow all the Instagrams and everything. It's all in the description. Make sure you're streaming Electron. Make sure you're liking, you're following. You're doing all of the generic stuff that Minecraft YouTubers say. Please make sure you subscribe. Check out some other videos, such as the video of him, because it's pretty good. Go to SX Fest as well. And thank you very much for watching, everybody. And we will see you in the next one. And goodbye.